Are you listening? Damn.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Gene Volsey with UNMB Home Loans.
E. Patrice Hayes, Designer Realty Group.
And today we're going to discuss the relationship between a lender and a real estate agent and how important that is to the transaction.
Very important, very important.
Yeah, let me start off when I get a referral from a real estate agent, the reason why that relationship is so important, one, is that you're trusting that before you go out and start driving around, that you want someone to vet your client, someone that's going to give your clients sound information, and someone that's also not going to let you lose a commission, right? Because if the professional that's reviewing the pre-approval misses an opportunity and tells you this client's not ready to buy and doesn't look to see maybe possibly a grant program, or maybe ask the right questions for a co-signer, or maybe they can get a condo and not the single family that they wanted, or maybe talking about a two-family home that can use rental income to qualify them. Mm-hmm. If that particular person doesn't uncover all those potential opportunities, or even educate the client that, you know, you can tap into your 401k money, mm-hmm. you can use gift money. There's a lot of different ways to kind of get to the finish line. Mm-hmm. It's very important. The same thing for me when I pre-approve a client and I have an agent that may not truly understand the landscape or how to kind of navigate certain issues. Mm-hmm. They may be the reason why that client may not be able to get an accepted offer. Mm-hmm. So I'll stop there because that's a mouthful. There's so much that happens and why it's important that that relationship is in sync at all mm-hmm. times. But tell me a little bit why you think initially that relationship between the agent and the lender are important.
Well, I think it's important from my end because, you know, you're going to be working closely with each other throughout the entire transaction. You have to have a rapport with the person. You have to have trust. You have to be able to know that you can ask them any questions. Sometimes any time of day or night. You have buyers that are, asking, well, if I move up this price bracket, you know, what will my payment change to? And although we may be educated in how to work the numbers, I always like to say you should speak to the lender to get the exact number that you want. And if you have lenders that are not accessible, it makes it very difficult, and it makes the buyer very frustrated not knowing if they can bid on a property that's, you know, $10,000 higher because they're borderline. You know, those are very important things to have that relationship with your lender.
Yeah, because if you call me and say, Gene, this client needs an updated pre-approval, I need some very important details, especially when it's a condo, mm-hmm. a condo in the Bronx, a condo in Westchester, a condo in Orange County, Rockland, etc. They're going to have different particulars. When I'm dealing with the agent directly, you can say, Gene, this is the property that John Doe is looking at, mm-hmm. and here's what the HOA fee is, here's what mm-hmm. the taxes are, or here's where we are, to kind of give you exactly those particular numbers. This way we're not fishing and we're not looking at the wrong information. So that's important to know, to go out to buy and have those particulars. If I put the wrong taxes on that pre-approval letter, I'm basing my numbers off of something totally different.
Right. And that's one thing that I do love about working with you. There are many lenders that will just issue a pre-approval and it'll just say, you know, approved for $550,000. Well, how did you come up with that number? What are the taxes that you base this on? What's their monthly payment going to be? What's the interest rate? You know, this is crucial information, because if you based it on, you know, interest rates that are, you know, 4%, and then they bring this pre-approval a year later, and now, you know, with COVID, the rates have dropped, they can afford more. People not knowing what their monthly payment is just baffling to me. You know, They come with a pre-approval and they have no idea what their payment is going to be. And sometimes it's more or less than what they want their payment to be. So I love that your pre-approvals always have all that information.
You made a valid point. Sometimes a client will say, Gene, can the same amount of what I qualify for, is it the same for everywhere? Right? If you buy a house in Westchester for $600,000, we know the taxes can be anywhere from 15 to even 25, if not
mm-hmm.
more. Mm-hmm. You buy a $600,000 home in the Bronx, the taxes are 4, 5,000, mm-hmm. maybe 6. Same thing in the Queens and the Brooklyn market. Mm-hmm. So if you just look at the pre-approval, if my pre-approval letter only said the purchase price, is misleading to the real estate agent, because now you don't know what taxes I'm using, what taxes you should use your filter when you're selling your property. Because if I have it at max $10,000, $600, there's no reason why you should send a client a property where the taxes are $18,000.
Exactly.
We're now setting the wrong expectation. So, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And the payments are definitely there. If you're buying a house and you don't know what your payments are,
There's tons of buyers that have no clue what their payments are. They just know, the big number. And it's like, well, what can you afford on a monthly basis when it really comes down to it? And unfortunately, I had people come to me where they had no idea what their payment was going to be. And it's like, well, something that, you should have known, from the very beginning. And talking about areas, the area is very important to buyers. They want to be in a certain area. But if your taxes are maxed out at, $6,000 or whatever, well, there goes a lot of Westchester for you,
Sure.
a lot of Rockland, depending on the type of property you're looking at. So being able to have that rapport with the lender to talk to them about, this is what the buyer wants. Can they use a grant program? Are they going to be able to, do gift funds, and having that time frame ahead of time so it could be seasoned or get a gift letter. Putting everything together on both ends of the spectrum is what really makes a deal come together. Not just the agent, not just the lender. It's really both parties coming together, being on the same page.
Yeah, it's all about having a team. I mean, even when you include the attorney later on in the transaction, having an inspector, whomever, it's all about a team, and we're all working together to try to get the client across that finish line smoothly. So there's high, strong benefits to having a partnership. I can see that.
And especially in the climate that we're in right now with these bidding wars, things like that, and clients having to change expectations. If you can't reach your lender, anytime after 2 p.m. or you can't reach them before, 12 p.m., because of whatever reason, it's going to hold your deal up, because you're not going to be able to move forward and get the answers that buyer needs. So you really have to have someone that you can reach anytime and have that understanding.
Yeah,
So.
and one thing I like about you, I don't know if it's through trust, right? You're one of the agents that you send me the deal and you kind of go away. Like, Gene's gonna just knock it down, and I'll get a message, Gene, just let me know when everything is said and done, and if we need to have a discussion throughout the way, we will. But the trust factor is there when you have the team aspect together. So it's really good the way we work.
Absolutely, because numbers best, not me. So I give you what you need. I give you, the type of property they're looking for. Sometimes I'll get in advance what I know they want their monthly payment to be, and I'll give that to you, just kind of prep them for you so you know ahead of time what you are working with, and that helps you, get your wheels spinning already in the beginning to kind of know which way you need to go with them. So
I had a situation where an agent set the wrong expectation, and sometimes when an agent that doesn't know how you work can make a client have a bad experience if one person who is separate from the transaction gives the client a bad experience. So when you're on the same team, you have one expectation. If something were to happen, as we were talking in the last episode, the mortgage process and the mortgage lending thing, it's not an easy transaction.
No.
Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things get derailed. It's a matter of having a team to pick up the pieces and get it back on track. And when you have a team aspect, everyone knows, like, listen, we're all here together to get the loan back to where it needs to be, and we're going to work together to get that done.
Yep, absolutely. And like you said, it's a team effort. And when it comes to attorneys I've been working with for years are your bank's attorneys. And so when you have that cohesive unit where everyone is on the same page, it just makes things flow so much easier. Everyone knows what everyone's doing. You're not getting, people trying to dodge your calls or your emails, things like that, because everyone has a responsibility and they know that they have to answer to all the other parties. And that's how we continue to do business all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for joining. My name is Gene Volsi, UNMB Home Loans.
E. Patrice Hayes, Designer Realty Group.
Thank you for joining.
Are you
See you
listening?
next time.
Damn.